welcome to In Touch with Durham County. I'm Deborah Craig-Ray, General Manager of Strategic Planning and Innovation. Joining me is our co-host, Wendy Jacobs, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Deborah. We use this show to share vital information about the wonderful programs and services provided by Durham County Government.
Innovate Durham is a 12-week partnership program that turns the City of Durham and Durham County into a lab to test new ideas, products, or services. Eric Marsh, Durham County Strategic Initiative Analyst, and Toney Thompson, Office of Performance and Innovation with the City of Durham, are here to shed light on this award-winning program. Weeks ago, Hurricane Dorian churned through our coast, leaving major destruction. National Preparedness Month, which we just observed in September, promotes family and disaster planning. We've invited our expert, Leslie O'Connor, Emergency Management Division Chief, to reinforce the importance of emergency preparedness in any season. We have a great deal to discuss on this show, so let's get going, Chair Jacobs.
Thank you, Deborah. And Eric and Toney, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Can you please tell us, what is Innovate Durham?
As you said, Innovate Durham is a 12-week partnership program where we take local startups and tech companies and social entrepreneurs and educational technology companies and just people with great ideas, and we partner them with city and county departments to pilot their services, their technologies.
That's great. And can you tell us a little bit, why is this important? Why is this relevant to city and county government to have a program like this?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we say about Innovate Durham all the time is about tapping to the DNA of your community. And I think it's really crucial for local governments to be able to look at the resources and the talent that they have in their community, in their surrounding area, and see how they can leverage that to actually be a benefit to their residents.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So why do you each love managing this program? I know you've both got some good experience.
Wow, we get to meet a ton of great people, for one. But one thing that we've learned is that there's just a lot of talented people here in Durham who have startups that just haven't received the exposure that you would like. And then we also have startups that are international, that are headquartered right here in Durham that nobody knows about. And we get the opportunity to partner with them and build capacity. We like to say we build internal and external capacity to reach people outside and also in our departments. They come into our departments and they bring this expertise that they have about solving problems, and they help us to better serve our community.
Mm-hmm. Toney?
Yeah, going off of what Eric said, I think one of the amazing things about the Innovate Durham program is we've seen that there are people both inside of the city of Durham and the county of Durham and our residents who are problem solvers. And they are seeking to solve problems for our community, and to see the passion that some of the people in our departments and these startups have to actually moving the needle towards a shared vision and future it's honestly what gets me out of the bed in the morning.
Nice, nice. So what makes Innovate Durham different from other pilot programs?
Wow, Innovate Durham is one of a kind. So we're fortunate here in the city of Durham and county to have a 1-to-1 ratio with the city and the county. And that's something that just doesn't happen everywhere. And we have such great overlap between the people we serve. Almost, 85%, 90% of the people we serve as a county live in city limits. So we're one of the more unique partnerships because we are a city and county partner to pilot these things. Often you find a large city that has tons of small little towns and suburbs within it, or a large county with tons of smaller entities, but we are literally covering all of Durham with our program, which is something that we just haven't found across the nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this year, we're partnering with Durham Public Schools, which has always been a vision for the Innovate Durham program. And one of the things that we're saying is Innovate Durham, for the first time, is a doorway to touch every single resident within Durham County. And we hope that we can continue to leverage that.
I like that doorway. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about the partnership with Durham Public Schools?
Absolutely. So Innovate Durham, as Eric said, is a 12-week partnership between startups and local government. And so one of the things that we do is we try to find the right department to go with a promising startup into the program. And so one of the things that we have done this year in year 3 is we found a startup that had a really great service for what Durham Public Schools was looking for. And we all thought that it was a great chance to test out this product for free on a limited basis. And so we always say that it's about fit. We're not going to force anything on any startup, any department, any person. Everyone has to want to try to see what's going to come out of this after 12 weeks. And so we were just fortunate in year 3 that we found a startup that Durham Public Schools was interested in.
That's fantastic. And what has been the startups, our local startups community's reaction to Innovate Durham?
There's been excitement and surprise. Excitement in terms of we're basically tearing down barriers. A lot of people who have startups, they would like to have a contract or like to partner with the local government or with someone to test their idea and make sure that their MVP or their product or their service fits. And that's one of the biggest things that startups want to know is this viable? Will this work? So they're able to do that.
And I think one of the things, some of the feedback that we've gotten over the last 3 years is for a lot of startups, I think local government can appear to be like a black box for them. And they don't really see how their product or service could apply to the work that we do. But oftentimes it does. And so as they go through the cohort, they really start to see like, oh, well, I think I could actually be a good partner for local governments in the future. And so one of the things about the program that we really stress is trying to demystify the black box of local government.
Yes.
And see if after the end of the 12 weeks, can these startups see a new avenue potentially for their business to go in.
I think you've hit on a good point, which is that our city and county governments are one of the biggest employers in our local economy.
Absolutely.
And this is also a way we can help support and grow local businesses.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you've touched on it a little bit already, but are there any other benefits that you see for both local governments and cohort members of being a part of this program?
Wow. I think one of the greatest benefits is just coming into a cohort. So we've been very intentional on not just having partnerships, but connecting them with one another. And what we found is that just how, like you have think tanks and you have people who come together and have coffee and have chats, when you put these hungry, passionate, like people who love Durham, who have these businesses into one place, you start seeing new partnerships and ideas emerge. And that's been one of my biggest things that I've seen, is that just to see them take to one another and then support one another as they share information, share, coders and resources to help accelerate. So I found that the program is started as an initiative. Now it's become more of that formal, we make decisions on, are we going to incubate this idea or we're going to accelerate? Like these more techie, kind of words, but you find for formal incubators that are within the cities and counties. So it's been very interesting seeing how that has kind of grown and watching them connect with one another.
Absolutely.
and see how their business models have literally changed over a matter of 12 weeks, saying we can make this impact in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think Innovate Durham has been such a success?
So I think it goes back to what we said earlier about tapping to the DNA of our community. And we didn't have to build much for Innovate Durham. It was already there. And so we were just being a connector between local government, as you said, one of the largest employers in the county, and the talent that's already here. And they're looking to keep that talent here and to solve problems for our community. And so now that when we go out, when the first year we had to kind of explain what the program is, but now the more we go out, people know what Innovate Durham is and they can see the excitement and they know how this can benefit them now. And so I think it was the ingredients for success were always there. We just had to be open to the idea.
Yeah, and I'd also add that a lot of people, they do have a heart for people and they have a heart for service. And I think the nature of public service is changing as technology is coming in and these different opportunities are coming in. a lot of people didn't think it was feasible to serve in the public sector, or work in the public sector, or partner with the public sector and make an impact without making money. And what we find is, even in this program where there's no money involved, they're watching their ideas evolve, and they're getting opportunities with other local governments and other entities by showing that, hey, this thing does work in the public sector. And I think they're finding more fulfillment in the work that they're doing. And that's one thing that we're hearing. It's like, this is great. We've been wanting to partner with government for a long time, and we're finding that we might be, one of the later people to the table with doing some of these partnerships, but they're just as impactful, because we're in need of that in government.
What changes have you seen in city and county government as a result? I mean, can you give us one example?
So I think one of the changes that we've seen, going back to a previous answer, is that our departments see the benefit of this. A lot of times, I think departments have problems that they're trying to solve, and being in local government, there are only a few traditional ways in which you try to solve those problems. But now I think departments are seeing this as an opportunity to really do some forward thinking and take the time to really use Innovate Durham to see, well, what actually do we need? And use this as an opportunity to actually test that theory or that idea out to see what they really need, so in the future they can have a better idea of how they can solve that problem in a more efficient or effective way. And so I think departments are seeing this as an opportunity to really take a step back and do some forward thinking.
Yes, I agree. So in each of our strategic plans, we mention innovation and promoting a culture of innovation internally. But one big part of innovation is that there's risk involved. Yeah. So when you're able to partner with a company or a startup that's a subject matter expert on a problem you're trying to solve, what you see is they're more open to taking the risk, because this is shared risk. You have a subject matter expert in the private sector that's offering up capacity and resources, so you're not necessarily expending a lot of tax money to do these things. What you're seeing is a big return of investment on just this small amount of time that you commit to focusing specifically on a problem for 12 weeks.
Well, this is really an outstanding program, and I wish we had more time. But before we end, tell our people how they can get in touch with you for more information.
Wow. They can go to the city or county website and type in Innovate Durham. And if they search for it, it should come up and go directly to the webpage. It should have our contact information on that page. You can also feel free to connect with us on our Durham County and City of Durham social media pages as well. You should see information going out on that as well. Wonderful.
Well, again, we'd like to thank you so much for what you do for Innovate Durham, and just really exposing our communities to some very new and wonderful ways of operating that benefit us all. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll hear from Leslie O'Connor regarding emergency preparedness. Stay with us. Did you know that April 1, 2020 is Census Day? The 2020 census is coming, and the Census Bureau is hiring thousands of full-time and part-time staff right here in our community to help ensure its success. The census matters to all of us because billions of federal dollars are available to cities, states, and counties. This money helps improve our roads, schools, hospitals, and indeed our quality of life. In addition, representation in Congress is determined by an accurate census count. Census jobs offer competitive pay, flexible hours, and in many cases, you can work locally right here in your own community. The North Carolina pay range is $12 to $22 an hour. As a census team member, you can help shape Durham's future. If you are interested, you can apply online. The application includes assessment questions about your education, work, and other experience. Now, applicants must be at least 18 years old, have a valid Social Security number, be a U.S. citizen, and pass a background check. To join the 2020 Census team, call 1-855-562-2020 or visit the website at www.2020census.gov/jobs. Shape your future. Start here. Welcome back. Leslie O'Connor joins us to tell us all we need to know about preparing for emergencies. Chair Jacobs, let's continue our show.
Well, thank you, Leslie, for being with us here today. So we know it's that time of year to be thinking about the weather. And what are some things that Durham County residents should be thinking about?
We are still in hurricane season currently. We are going to be making the transition kind of towards the end of November into the winter weather season, but we don't want hurricanes to be out of folks' minds. So anything that we talk about today, they can certainly apply to hurricane season, but we do have winter weather knocking on our door at any time.
Which is hard to believe, right?
Yes.
What, over the past few years, what kinds of things have we seen during the winter that we should be aware of?
So we typically see events that come where we may get 3 to 4 inches of snow or freezing rain. Kind of depends on what the temperature decides to do to us. But over the past 2 years, we've seen our traditional annual snowfall amount happen at once, with 2018 having snow in January and then having about a foot of snow in December as well. And so that's very unusual for our area to be able to get all of our snowfall at one time. But that's just the system that we were in. So it can range anywhere from several events that have 3 to 4 inches, or we could just go ahead and knock it all out of the park with one.
So in other words, more kind of severe and more intense events is
All
what
at
you're
once.
saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In general, do you have any idea what the forecast is for this winter? I know people are beginning to vision that.
Yeah, so everything that we've seen so far coming out of the National Weather Service is telling us that it may be above average with the precipitation. That's the same thing that they told us last year. And so we just kind of go with, whatever it is that happens. And we hope that having our residents prepared now, we can be ready for anything. And maybe we'll be able to create those snowmen without having, too many major issues.
Yeah, so, we always say in the South that, we don't understand how to drive in the snow. So what is it about snow that just kind of gets us native Southerners just all discombobulated?
We hear that all the time, and our colleagues, up north of us, they make fun of us constantly because we just don't know how to drive in the snow. And it's not the snow that's the problem, it's the ice. We don't know how the precipitation is going to start falling. And so our Public Works, we have a great relationship with them and with General Services, and they can put down a brine treatment, which is a combination of, water and salt, or they can do a sanding operation as well. And that depends on what the temperature is going to be. But many times what we see is when the precipitation starts to fall, it is so much warmer that it falls as rain or freezing rain or sleet, and then we have snow that comes down on top of it. And then when we get into day 2, day 3, during the daytime we'll have warm up, during the nighttime we'll have freeze again, and it's very difficult for anybody to be able to drive on ice. And so it's just very important for people to know it's not this soft plush snow that's falling, that there's ice that's hidden underneath it as well.
Yeah, it's a very good point. What are some things that residents can do to just prepare for the winter weather, even though I know we are still in the hurricane season, but just for people to be thinking about that?
Well, we hope that people have heeded our advice on having a preparedness kit and having emergency communications plans as well. If they have, then we just applaud them and say, go through your kit, make sure that your supplies are still within their expiration date. If you've got food that needs to be replaced or water that needs to be replaced, go ahead and do that. We would also say to include things that you would need for winter weather, like extra blankets. If you want to put in some extra clothes as well, making sure that there's things that will keep you warm just in case you're in below freezing temperatures. We also want people to think about having a car kit as well. In the event that you do get trapped on the road, you've decided to drive and something has happened and you're unable to get any further, that you've got snacks, you have water, you potentially have kitty litter that's in your car to give you some traction to be able to get out of a sticky situation. And just to have those things and to go through them. If you haven't already put together a kit, then we would want you to check out alertdurham.com to be able to get all the details that you need on what should go in that kit to be prepared for any type of season.
And I'm really glad you just mentioned alertdurham.com, because if people have not joined, could you just mention what they can do to participate in that and what that will provide for them?
Certainly. Our website, alertdurham.com, has preparedness tips and tricks really for any type of event that we could be privy to, whether that's a natural disaster, technological, or human-caused disaster as well. We also have the mass notification system called Alert Durham that you can sign up at alertdurham.com. And through that mass notification system, not only can you get weather alerts, but you can find out if we have a shelter open or if there's any protective action that we need for you to take. If there's a location where you can pick up food or water or any type of supplies that may be needed, that's the way that we like to push that message out. It is completely free and it is totally voluntary to join. So we do encourage people to go to alertdurham.com and do that.
And what are some suggestions that you have for people if the power does come out because of the ice on the power lines, right?
Yeah, it could absolutely happen. We want to make sure that folks have, extra blankets, warm clothes that are available, plenty of food, non-perishable items that can be prepared without having to have electricity to cook them. A lot of times we unfortunately see folks who will bring in a charcoal grill to try and stay warm, or they will try to have some type of indoor heating source that wasn't intended for that use. And our fire marshal would be very, very quick to say, please don't do that because of the increased risk of carbon monoxide poisoning or just the increased fire risk. If you have gas logs that are inside of your home, get them tested and make sure that they're in working order beforehand. If you have a natural wood-burning fireplace or you have a wood-burning stove, ensure that you've got plenty of wood to be able to get you through the winter. And we encourage people to have their chimney swept as well so that we can make sure that we reduce any of those fire hazards too. If those aren't an option inside of your home, find a small room that you can all cuddle in together, shut the door, and keep that body heat, warming that room for you along with those extra blankets and clothing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So what if I have a power-dependent device and the power goes out? So what do I need to do to prepare for that?
We would encourage you to go ahead and have that conversation with your durable medical equipment provider. Find out if there's a battery backup option for the equipment that you do have. If there's not an option available, talk to your in-home care provider if you have one as well, and find out what their plans are in the event that there is severe weather. Make sure that they're still going to be coming to take care of you even though the power is out. We find that folks who live about 6 miles or more from people that they are friends or relatives with, that if one power goes out, the other may still have power. So having the conversations with them beforehand, hey, if this happens in my area, can I come and stay with you? And trying to put those plans in place and have those conversations with the providers before the actual incident happens.
Great idea. So frequently if something happens and we get to a certain level, the county will open a shelter. So how will the community know if the county has decided to open a shelter?
So we like to let people know through the Alert Durham system, which you can sign up for that at alertdurham.com. We also send out through our wonderful public information team many press releases to let individuals know so they can find out through television or radio. If the power is completely off, then hopefully you've signed up for the Alert Durham system, or you can follow us on our social media, which our handle is at Alert Durham for Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. So we try to push those messages out as well, and we try to spread that message far and wide. If we know that you have an access and functional need, we can start to plan for those for our shelters in advance. If we know that we have a certain amount of power-dependent devices that are in a particular area, or there's a neighborhood that it has an increased amount of individuals who are signed up in our access and functional needs registry, then we know that if that neighborhood gets hit or we see that it's without power, that there's additional help that's going to be needed for the area.
Great.
Well, I have to say, you all have an awesome social media page, so that's a great way for people to, when the Emergency Operations Center is going, and also recently we had the only state shelter here, and you all did a great job of helping with that. If somebody does have to go to a Durham County operated shelter, what kind of things should they bring with them?
So they'll want to bring really the things that make them comfortable, even inside of their own home. We encourage people to bring pillows, blankets, sleeping bag, something for you to be able to sleep on if that's going to make you more comfortable. Any medications, prescription glasses, contact lenses, those things that we don't necessarily think about but are really important to us when we don't have them. If you have small children, bringing diapers, formula, non-electric devices for them to be able to play with to keep themselves busy. So books, board games, coloring books, anything of that nature. And don't forget about yourself as well. Think about something that's non-electric that you can also use that can keep you entertained as well.
And what about pets?
So we do have co-located shelters. As a part of the Post-Katrina Reform Act, we are required to have shelters that will allow pets. That doesn't mean that all of them will allow pets, but we will have locations that do. We have a great working relationship with the ASPCA and also with Animal Services with the Durham County Sheriff's Office that help us with pets, and we encourage people to bring them.
Yeah, well, I'm real proud of our team. I think we do a fantastic job helping our community in these situations. And your guys, you are just awesome. Everybody out there knows exactly what to do, when to do it to help keep us safe. So thank you so much. One quick question. Remind us one more time about Alert Durham.
Yes, so alertdurham.com is our website where you can get all the information that you need about any type of disasters that we're susceptible to in Durham County. And again, Alert Durham is also our mass notification system. So please go to alertdurham.com to review those and to go ahead and sign up for our service. It is free of charge.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie. We appreciate all you do. And I think we've had another really good show, Chair Jacobs.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yep. So we thank you so much for watching, and we promise that we will come back next month with some really incredible information to help improve your quality of life here in Durham County. Thank you so much for watching us. Cheers.